What's going on, guys? So if you're new here to the channel and you're enjoying the content that we're putting out, consider hitting the like button, subscribe, and share, and enable notifications. That way you never miss out on any of the Naruto lore-based topics that we discuss here on the channel from the 1st to the 14th of the month before we start shifting over to manga content and talking about Boruto fan theories. So if the YouTube algorithm brought you here by mistake and you have no idea what Sasuke Jinraiden is, don't worry, I got you, fam. Go to the homepage, scroll down to the Naruto novel section, click on the playlist that's titled Sasuke Jinraiden, and you're completely fine. So with all that being said, though, I'm assuming that you are all caught up with Sasuke Jinraiden, so we're gonna pick up exactly where the last video left off. So what I like about this scene here is that in the aftermath of Sasuke defeating this gang of ninja and allowing them to leave, Sasuke is in the process of walking around. He's looking at the graveyard, and Sasuke has a moment where his Sharingan is beginning to act funny. And the way I compared it to like when a Super Saiyan is transforming for the first time. Their hair begins flickering back and forth between black and blonde before it finally turns into that golden color. Well, Sasuke's Sharingan is doing something very similar. The sight of blood and his thought about Itachi makes Sasuke's Sharingan pattern begin to slowly start changing, but it doesn't take on the full appearance of a Mangekyou Sharingan pattern because his Mangekyou hasn't fully awakened yet. Sasuke's still dealing with a lot of that grief that comes from it, from having killed his brother and processing all this information. And we have a moment where we get to see what I like to refer to as Sasuke Uchiha's curse, which is essentially a situation where Sasuke is thinking about what it is that Itachi wants him to do. He knows that Itachi wants him to go back to Konoha and protect the village and to serve the village and basically carry on Itachi's ninja way, but Sasuke is so consumed with hatred right now to where he's actually thinking about his own heart being swallowed up in black flames of Amaterasu. And what you end up seeing here is that Sasuke is going right back into that vulnerable space that Itachi warned Naruto about, where Itachi told Naruto Sasuke was a blank canvas that could be dyed any color depending on who's painting it. And even though Sasuke is not in the presence of Obito right now, Sasuke is beginning to slip more and more into those dangerous, murderous rampages and impulses, and he doesn't have anybody that can fully anchor him right now. And that's why I've always said Konoha needed to get to Sasuke before Obito got his hands on him, because Sasuke, with each passing day, the goodness that's inside of him, Sasuke slowly beginning to kill it off, and you start seeing it with the way that his Mangekyou is trying to form here. And so when we start looking at Sasuke's thoughts during this moment, we get a lot of insight into what it is that makes Sasuke tick and what ultimately swayed him towards wanting to even consider joining Obito and the Akatsuki. So with the scene in the context finally being set, we're gonna take a look at this scene and I'm gonna come back to you guys my thoughts, and it's here I'm gonna begin quoting. At that moment, I had hated him with all my heart, up until the very moment that Itachi had died. At that moment, under the pouring rain, I was even happy for Itachi's death. If what Madara had asserted was true, Itachi planned to give me the Mangekyou by letting me defeat him, the death of a loved one, of someone I loved. Itachi had been able to see what was invisible to my eyes, blinded by hatred. That's why the Mangekyou Sharingan was choosing me. What should I have done? Was he asking me to become the least offender? Was this what he had wished for from the bottom of his heart? However, if I hadn't managed to understand what was concealed deep within my own heart, probably he wouldn't have been able to read his heart either. Was he really okay with something like this? We had to protect the leaf, even at the cost of sacrificing our clan. I didn't want this, not such an ending. The thing I wanted, black flames were swallowing my heart. Sasuke, are you feeling well? Kina asked me, putting his hand on my shoulder. Don't touch me or I'll kill you, I threatened him, roughly sending him away. Sasuke, Kina asked, I've had enough of you and your brother and this village, I shouted. But more than anything else, I was tired of myself. We are done playing detective, I said. I stood up and tried to wipe my eyes when I noticed some blood in my hands. As murky water that had suddenly become crystal clear, my vision cleared, letting me neatly discern everything. Entirely similar to a candle that burns with utmost strength before it goes out completely. I felt on the verge of being burned to ashes too. My heart was burning, enveloped in the Amaterasu flames. Sasuke, let's go back home. I'll tell my brother to prepare your eye drops immediately. Mind your own business, I shouted, shoving him away. At that moment, something happened. Sasuke, is everything fine? Falling on his bottom, Kina was looking at me astounded, amused and upset at the same time. This kid, he was sincerely worried about me. It meant, therefore, that not everyone in this world wanted to take advantage of me. That thought convinced me, making me feel relieved. The black flames that were burning in my heart started to lose their intensity and became weaker and weaker until they vanished along with the pleasant autumn breeze. I put what I had picked up in my pocket and reached out to Kina. I'm sorry. Sasuke, come on, let's go. Kina grabbed my hand, pulled himself up with all his strength, and took advantage of the push to poke my forehead. I ran my hand over the spot that he had poked. I'll only forgive you this one time, you moron, he told me, smiling. I instinctively lowered my eyes. Quote. So I know a lot of you guys probably caught that moment where Sasuke ended up getting the forehead poke, and that was basically the coming back to reality moment for Sasuke, because that's something that Itachi would have done when Sasuke was acting like an utter jackass. So I did like seeing that right there. That was a sign of affection, and you see how Sasuke and Kina are becoming more so like brothers. But I want to kind of back up for a second. I do like the fact that when Sasuke sees that Kina genuinely wanted Sasuke to be safe, Sasuke's looking at the situation. He's like, there's actually somebody who's not trying to betray me. There's somebody who's not trying to use me. There's somebody that genuinely cares for me as me, not as me as a ninja. And that's why I said all these times, if Konoha could have gotten to him before Obito, it could have been done. Sasuke could have been won over by Naruto, and if Sakura would have done that love confession to him, there's a really good chance that Sakura likely would have been able to calm those fires that were growing in his heart. And the scene like this, that's absolutely proves that whole working theory right there. And what I also like about this moment is that Sasuke, as he's descending into madness, and as his heart, as he describes it, is being swallowed up in the flames of the Materasu, Sasuke is just thinking over and over, how could Itachi want me to be able to pick my clan over my village? And even though Sasuke is the last Uchiha in Konoha that's left alive, if he were to go back, it's still the same working thing. Just as Itachi had to literally sacrifice something that he loved, Sasuke, by going back and carrying on Itachi's will, there might one day come an opportunity where Sasuke might have to choose the village over, say, a lover, in the same way that Itachi had to choose the village over Izumi Uchiha, who was Itachi's lover. Or Sasuke might have to choose a village over a child, or choose a village over a best friend. Sacrifices would need to be made. And it's something that Sasuke can't fully grasp right now. And that goes back to what Hiruzen Sarutobi said when he was talking to Sasuke and explaining to him that even at a young age, Itachi had the mind state and the wisdom of a Hokage. Itachi understood what Minato understood when he had the opportunity to live, and instead of living, he sealed the Nine Tails inside of Naruto because he understood that despite his wife's dying wishes to have Minato raise their son, keeping the tailed beast balance of power between the nations was more important, and that he couldn't be selfish and choose raising his own child over the best thing for the village. The same way Hashirama once told Madara that, hey, I would kill you just the same way I would kill my own child if they chose to side against the village. There are just some things that are bigger than yourself, and Sasuke right now can't quite grasp that, and it's because of the emotional mind state that he's in. And I love it. That is a very human reaction from Sasuke Uchiha right here. This is something very much earned, to see him jumping back and forth all over the place, and the way that everything kind of ties back together with Sasuke's flames being extinguished by having that forehead poke. It just shows you that, again, no matter how much Sasuke tries to bury the goodness inside of him, it's still there, and it still creeps out from time to time. His heart hasn't become fully blackened yet, and we know that that is something that happens later on, because Kari Uzumaki, when Sasuke is starting to slaughter all those samurai, Sasuke's heart becomes overcome by that hatred. So I did like what you got here in this light novel scene. So my question to you guys, we're gonna keep this one very simple. So on a scale from 1 to 10, how do you rate Sasuke bouncing back and forth between carrying out Itachi's will and Sasuke wanting to destroy the village? And out of all the members on the Itachi pursuit team, who do you think likely would have had the best opportunity to reach Sasuke if they could have spoke to him? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.